Welcome. We are here with Aiden Alfia, and I've only met Aiden one time at the GWA conference, and Gio invited him on the podcast, and we were just pre-chatting, and I was asking him all about his background, which I can't wait to hear about. So, Aiden, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Jamie.
This is going to be a little bit of a different convo. So Aiden is new to the industry. The GWA was like his intro. He's experimenting. So we're going to get kind of an outsider's perspective, but Aiden's also an interesting entrepreneur, I can tell already. So, okay, you're in Dallas.
Yes.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
No accent. Why not?
Like a Texan accent?
I mean, Gio has an accent.
Well, I get my parents, my family, they're not from Texas. So that could be the reason why I don't have that accent. I wouldn't know how to describe my accent.
It's pretty generic is what it is.
That's
It's straight down the middle. I like it.
Yeah.
I have a straight down the middle upstate New York accent.
If you want, I can do the rest of the podcast in a country accent if you
can. Okay. When I was a kid, I used to love, like, I thought I still maybe in my next life would marry a cowboy. I also love Texas, like, chivalry. The men are very, like, maybe more in Houston, like, open the door. Yeah. Like, women get a little, I like it. And I love, like, a cowboy hat and some cowboy boots, just saying. Okay.
Yeah, I actually own one pair, which should be illegal in Texas. Yeah, I'm working on the Tom Selleck mustache, and then I think I'll.
Oh, jeez.
Nice. You also grew up in upstate New York, but you grew up on a farm, right?
I did grow up on a farm, which is why I probably have a little thing for cowboys, sort of related. Yeah.
I mean, your dad knew how to work the crops and work
he
the
did
and everything else.
Still does.
You get it. So you get it more than most.
Wait, but also, Aiden, did you grow up in Plano?
In Dallas.
Yeah. Oh, in Dallas, not Plano.
Honestly, it's really the same. Plano, Dallas.
Kind of, but Plano was also like farmland back then, yeah?
It was, yeah. And so was until recently Frisco. I mean,
right.
Frisco expanding like crazy. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Well, Jamie, you mean back then when we were his age, right? I mean, keep in mind he's 24, right? So back then it was already fully developed. So it wasn't cotton fields when he was,
fine. Let's move on from this topic of conversation.
We've had a little bit of fun with the fact that Aiden graduated high school in 2018, and he's already full-fledged entrepreneur.
I know. So I want to know, Aiden, how do you make that? Yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and how do you decide you're just going straight into like a really entrepreneurial environment?
Well, to put it, I don't know,
we're uncensored. You can say whatever you'd like.
So my dad, Adam Alfia, he has an entrepreneurial spirit down to his core, and I'm following in his footsteps. You know, I want to be just like my dad. I want to kind of envision my life shadowing his. Growing up, he was never the type of person to say, "Yeah, I'm going to work for." I want to, he never wants to work for someone. He had the mindset of building. No matter what it is, he wants to build. So funny enough, before the podcast, when we were talking a bit about, changing filters on your dryer, it's funny because growing up, Adam would never let any of the family do anything where you had to have, a third party come in and fix it. He taught us to do everything. I guess he felt like
that has its pluses and minuses. So we were also talking about the fact that I grew up on a farm, and I call myself a chronic DIYer. Like I mentioned, my fridge was broken earlier. I had a lot of stuff to do today, and I need therapy for this because I was like, okay, I Googled, why does this not work? So I'm like figuring out how to it's like 9 o'clock. I should be working, and I'm taking the cover off of the coils and cleaning the coils. And I'm like, my husband's like, please call someone and pay for them to do this now.
You can't, it's like, and once you do it, you feel much better about yourself. Because like,
so accomplished. Yeah. I was like, oh, I still didn't fix it though. And I'm like, meanwhile, my food is going bad.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, but so Dad's like, you got to be self-sufficient. We're not getting that done. Yeah.
And it definitely had its tolls growing up, but I'm glad that it happened. I hope to do the same for my kids. Teach them young,
Which is why you were like, yeah, I'll go fix the dryer vent. That's no problem.
Yeah, it's like, of course, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But I guess from there, after I graduated high school, it was kind of a balance of, do I want to go to college? Do I need to go to college? What should I do? From back in the day, going to college was like the thing. It's like, oh, you don't go.
A given.
Yeah, you're a bum if you don't go.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see a shift in people, the solopreneur, where it's like, oh, I don't even need high school. I'm just going to go ahead and learn because, everything right now is online. You can learn everything. Long story short, I did go to college. In my second year, I first focused on business management. I tried to learn a little bit of coding, but, that was a little bit, I have really bad ADHD, so I can't, numbers, too many ones and zeros. I took a pause on that. I still want to learn, but then again, with AI being in the mix, I don't know if you need to. Long story short, second year in, I sat down with my advisor and I asked, I'm not really feeling what I'm doing right now. And she mentioned that they had an entrepreneurship class. And of course, I'm not going to credit the entrepreneurship class to, college, because you can't, it's not something you really can learn within 3 or 4 years sitting in class. It's because, it's all different. But during this time, I was still with real-time feedback. And I was there, since inception. And it's not really just a goal. It's kind of it's like a mindset. Without sounding cheesy, I really do see real-time feedback changing the way communication is done. So that's why I'm very passionate about this. It's become definitely a passion project, if that makes sense.
Let me give some context as to how I even got connected with real time and Aiden. Okay. I think that's helpful. So it was probably 4 months ago, Aiden, maybe 5 months ago. I got a random phone call or a reach out on LinkedIn that then became a phone call from a gentleman that wanted to talk to me about the flex industry, right? And he'd been following me for a bit, really had no idea what the conversation was about. And so I took the call, in which he said, hey, we'd love to show you what we're working on. And so I made time to go to their office and hear more about it, because they were basically doing, I guess they'd picked up one of the Venture X accounts in Florida. Was it West Palm specifically, I think?
Yeah.
Or one of those. And so I showed up, and it was a boardroom with the gentleman I'd spoken to, Aiden and Adam. And I was like, okay, hi, how are y'all? And so they quickly jumped in and gave me kind of a quick rundown on what the platform was and how they apply it to the restaurant industry, hotels, hospitality overall, right? And so I thought it was super unique because, Jamie, you and I have seen Kizzy and some of these other hospitality platforms that people use in order to offer real-time feedback, if you will, without using the name, right? Understanding of what the needs are, reviews, resourcing, even F&B, right? So it was really interesting to hear it. And so I started asking questions. He's like, can you introduce me? I'm like, that's a lot of introductions. Why don't you just show up at GWA? And we started the conversation. I basically connected him with Megan and Jennifer and let them kind of run with it. And so, he's kind of taken a deep dive into the pool, if you will, trying to figure it all out. He showed up and kind of deer in headlights, not really knowing what he was getting into. So that's kind of how this has kind of evolved, just for people's background. And even yours, Jamie, we didn't really get into a whole lot of it. But
no.
I think what I'd say, Aiden, is kind of give us an idea of kind of how you came about real-time feedback and how it's kind of grown outside of Flex Workspace. And then we can kind of jump into how it's kind of made a transition, or the need that you've seen based because at this point you had a lot of conversations at GWA about what people's needs are, what their struggles are. I think you even signed up some vendors.
Yeah.
So help us, or sorry, not some operators. Yeah. So help us kind of understand how the platform started.
Okay. So going back with Adam, he first started off with a company. Actually, it might sound incorrect just because I don't know what he was doing before I was born. He probably had other things, but the main thing that really took its course was his commitment to hospitality. And he started a service company called MyStar. And if you've used OnStar before, little button in your car. He had that, but a spin on it, where he got with companies like Nissan, Mitsubishi, Infiniti, Subaru. And when you bought the car, you would have this button linked with MyStar. So you'd push it, and it would be your own personal assistant that, would have a really good rapport with you. So, be, hey, Jamie, how are you? Is there anything I can help you with today? And it would, when I say personal assistant, I mean, to the max. It'd be a whole white glove experience, a whole Disney experience, if you will. Hey, me and my husband are heading out we'd like to go to Dubai. Is there any way that you could plan our trip for us? Of course, Jamie, I've got it. Do you happen to have any kids? Would I need to hire a nanny while you're gone? Basically take care of the whole thing. That's just like an example. They would do anything as long as it's not illegal.
Wait, that existed?
Yeah, and it still does. It's now called Maestro Personal Assistance. Wow. So that really helped us. I mean, we had a strong background with hospitality, and we knew how things should be. I mean, people like to be heard, to be listened to. So from there, we're like, let's see what's on the other side of the fence. We want to, so Adam started a hospitality group, and he has restaurants, companies in the nightlife industry. And I can definitely say that the grass looked greener on the other side, because once you're there, you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So we started off with a restaurant called Shell Shack, which has now grown to a few locations across the States. And when we first had that first location, we noticed customers would come in and, sit there for a bit, order food, just like the regular stuff, and they would leave and not come back. So we're like, okay, something's going on. So we made sure to have the managers, the employees go up to every single customer that's coming in. Hey, tell us what's on your mind. Is there anything I can help you with? And we noticed whenever we did that, they would always come back with that, 4-letter word that starts with an F, fine. And it was a nasty 4-letter word because we'd hear it so many times, like, oh, we're fine. But in reality, it means, screw off, we're good, leave us alone. So people don't like confrontational,
yeah. Not when you're eating. I'm here to spend time with my whoever, not you. I don't want to talk to you. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're like, hey, why don't we, there's a way around this. There's a workaround. So we put QR codes. We basically built real-time feedback for our own purposes, our own internal purposes. And in the past, surveys were a big thing and still are a big thing.
Except no one fills them out ever.
Exactly. There's it's called having survey fatigue. You fill out everything, and then there's a next page, and you're like, all right, now I'm doing homework for you. I just want to tell you that my fries are cold. Help me. So we started putting QR codes on all the tables. People would scan it and message us in real time saying, hey, I've been here 5 minutes. Where's the waiter? Or, hey, the restroom is out of paper towels. Just a bunch of things that we didn't know about. And we didn't have to waste time or money having our employees walk around and check for these things. Instead, we turned our customers into our eyes and ears. So that really took off, and we're like, hey, this has legs. Like, we can do something with this.
Wait, so was this pre-pandemic, or when was this?
This was pre-pandemic. This was about 6.
This was before the QR code came back.
Yes, exactly. And the pandemic really saved the QR code. Without the pandemic, we don't know where we would have figured it out. But thank you for having the QR code stick around. So we reached out to our friends at the American Airlines Center here in Dallas, and we showed them the platform. They're like, yep, let's do it. So since then, we were like, okay, this works. So we started, spearheading the arena and stadium industry. And from there, there hasn't been an industry that we haven't tried to go after. We're industry agnostic. To name a few, we've done hotels, family entertainment centers, retail stores, parks and recs even, and cities is something that we're starting to get into now. So pretty soon the city of Dallas will be on the platform, meaning as a civilian, you can now message, City Hall in real time. Hey, I've had a pothole in front of my house for like 5 years now. Can you get it fixed? And without having to call the 211 number? Yeah.
311.
311. Yeah.
Any of the 11 numbers. You don't have to call it anymore. Message it and say, hey, this is my problem. You can send a picture and a video, do it anonymously if you like, but there's a lot of application to it. So how I got into, property management and co-working, or, the flex space vertical, was that my cousins are in Austin, and they utilize a co-working space. I don't really want to call it a co-working space. It's one of those, it's owned by like one of those banks, how they always have those like one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went into there, and I was, they had me in as a visitor, or I guess, it's not really a day passer, just like a visitor. And while I was sitting there, it was a really cool space, but I'm looking around, I'm like, hey, if I had a problem, how do I tell how do I tell management, or in this case, the community managers? And they're like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm like, all right. So I go to the front counter, I start asking, and they're like, oh yeah, we have like a Slack channel, which is definitely like a lot of people use Slack. but it's not really working the way that it should be, especially if you're a day passer. You can't really access Slack because, it's a whole
member only thing. Yeah.
Whole headache. Yeah. So I was like, this is interesting. So I went back to, once I came back home, I stumbled upon We Crashed at the time. And I know I watched it like 5 times over, and I fell in love with the idea of co-working. I didn't even know, to be honest, I knew what WeWork was.
Did anyone else watch We Crashed and fall in love with co-working?
No. I know, right? It's ironic, but
it is ironic.
Definitely.
It's also a cultural thing. You were tied to Adam Newman too.
He did. Yeah. I guess he gave Israelis a bad look. But yeah, it was interesting. My aunt did grow up on a kibbutz in Israel, and I have visited her a few times. And that's how WeWork came to be, because Adam Newman was on a kibbutz, and I was like,
okay. It was Miguel, right? Adam Newman wasn't on a kibbutz, was he?
No, yeah,
they both were.
Yeah,
that's why they were able to connect. Is that's how they grew up in communities like that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, this relates. I get it. Okay. So after, watching it a few times, like, this makes sense. This should be a thing. And at the time I was like, okay, well, WeWork, obviously, they had bad leadership, but the idea still stands. Yeah. And that's when I started to pay attention to, companies like VentureX, Industrious, just like those types of brands. I was like, oh yeah, these exist on other levels. Like I didn't realize how deep it actually goes. So we have a building here in Dallas. We own our own building, and I wanted to do an internal test to see if this still stood. So I started putting signage in every single office, put them on desks. I put them on put them in the restrooms, put them anywhere it made sense, the elevators, dumpsters, whatever. I wanted our tenants to tell us about issues that we had. Because again, we're not a co-working space. We just have the building. But within the first week, we started getting feedbacks like, hey, we had a lady that went into the restroom, took a picture she scanned the QR code on the mirror, took a picture of the wall behind her. She noticed a little crack that was beginning to form. And this was on a Friday afternoon. She took a picture of the wall, sent it in, and then that feedback got redirected to our third-party plumber. He was offsite, he got the text, came in, and was like, oh, okay. He evaluated it, ran to Home Depot, spent $40, fixed it right then and there. But he said, if we waited, over the weekend, this pipe surely would have burst. There was a pipe behind it that was leaking. It would have burst. There would have been a lot of water damage, and would have cost, around $2,500 to repair. So, we figured out about that issue in real time. So that's when I got in touch with Kevin Pretty at VentureX. We launched his location. And from there, it's like, okay, co-working and property management is where I want to be. And from there, that's when we really built it out to have, different modules and features. So from there, it's just been a learning experience. And again, I met Gio about 4 months ago. So it goes to show, we're moving pretty fast. We're starting to get some momentum on this. So it's something I've been really excited about.
I have an
question real fast.
Okay.
How did you connect with VentureX in Florida, of all places, if you're here?
Yeah, that's interesting. So we had a contact at United Franchise Group. I guess we had a distributor or someone that we knew that said, hey, feedback would work really well for one of UFG's brands. And it wasn't even really for VentureX. It was for one of the other companies. But I was going through their site and I noticed VentureX. So we got in touch with, Kevin Pretty over there. And, after showing them the demo, we're like, yeah, let's do it. So from there, that's how we got into with Kevin Pretty. I know it was like it happened for a reason. I guess that's all I can say. I don't know. It was a weird path, but it led me to here.
I have an uncensored question.
Oh, yeah, I like this. Look, she's learning. I love it.
Okay. What do you think about the market size opportunity for co-working? Does it have to go with property management for you? Like, how are you looking at the size of the opportunity?
Yeah. So when I first started, I went after property management. I went after Regis. I went after CBRE. I went after, the big dogs. And that's when I realized, like, hey, maybe I'm wasting my time. Like, it's very hard to get in touch with these people here because I don't know who exactly I should be talking to.
Yeah.
So that's when, we had someone from our side, Mike, reach out to Gio, and that's how we got connected. I'm like, let's start it from a different view.
That sucker returned your call.
Sucker.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, there's still a lot I need to learn about co-working. I remember when I first started off, I would use the wrong, phrase. It wasn't property management. Well, in some it was all right, but you couldn't, like, some people were sensitive about, can't use flex space. We're a co-working space. we're shared space, or, we're not this isn't our property manager, it's our community manager.
Sure.
So
yeah.
In my eyes, this is coming from, just in layman's terms for me at least, with property management and co-working, I saw it as about the same, except with, just some different words. And obviously you have tenants versus members. But all in all, I see that co-working is, that I see that industry becoming, just growing. I remember at GWA, I spoke with one of our, friends, one of our associates, and they said that by 2030, around 30% of the, working environment will be shared space. I don't know how much that holds. That's just what I heard. And so, that's when I was
home from JLL clickbait. So yes,
wait. For those of y'all that aren't watching the video, Jamie just rolled her eyes and rolled her head.
Sorry.
So
well, I'd like to know who's busting out that stat and telling it to Aiden.
It wasn't JLL, although I did talk to them. I don't want to.
No, that's a like a well used industry number for those of us who are drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay, but in terms of number of locations, for instance, there's like 15,000 co-working spaces worldwide. That number might be higher now, but it's not that many, right? Like if you're like hotels, restaurants, gyms, there's the market. That market size is giant. It's like a blue ocean. Is that the right term? I mean, it's like endless.
Yeah.
Co-working spaces, however, there's 15,000 of them globally. There's like 8,000 in the US. That still is interesting enough for you.
Of course.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I'm you sitting there and I'll be like, should I go after the restaurants or should I go after co-working?
Well, because and that's a really fair that's fair to say. Because we have people here that are spearheading different verticals within our because we're launching all sorts of companies. But this one was really interesting for me. And worst case scenario, not saying that that's on my agenda, but pivoting wouldn't be that hard of a thing to do. I mean, at the end of the day, people seem to really like that no obligation or that non-obligatory feeling of I can just walk in. I'm not, I'm not tied to a lease. They have to deal with that. I don't. So again, there is more I need to learn about this space, but from what I've seen, it's just easier. It just seems easier.
Wait, what's easier?
Just walking in and out of, the space, working out of it and not having to worry about to me, it's like a gym.
Oh, totally. So you buy the value prop. Yes. Well, we can have later. I would say what I think, so really quickly, and then we can move on from this, but property management and co-working are different industries, right? Like I do think as a vertical property management, it's like what you do as a building owner, right? So that use case, 100%. And then in a lot of cases, flex or co-working is part of a larger ecosystem where the person, there's somebody who's managing all of it.
Yeah.
And so you might call them two sort of separate opportunities, but to me, that's could be like an ideal customer for you. Somebody who's got like the whole property and has like real operational things, and then like also a hospitality component inside of it.
So I'll tell you why I'm starting to hone in on co-working and not the whole building as a whole. And I definitely that there should be feedback within the buildings. I mean, it drives me crazy.
I mean, you sold me on the crack in the bathroom. Just saying.
It drives me absolutely crazy when I'm driving past, all these skyscrapers and I'm looking around. I'm like, wow, these people could be using real-time feedback.
Right.
Communicating within that building.
Yeah.
So the reason that we're honing in is because when you're looking at a building to lease out of, and I'm not saying co-working, but as a tenant, and you're like, okay, I need a place to work. I don't even know what co-working is.
Yeah.
I want to work out of this building. It's not like you go and you type in that address and you see a lot of reviews on the place. Yep. So what I see is that co-working focus, like they hold the reviews and SEO to a very high standard.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So our platform
reputation management is critical.
That's one of our. So we have a 360-degree view of the member experience. The first part would be on-site real-time communication between anyone in that building or anyone in that space, and then management as a whole. And then we would have the second part would be the review generation. So we actually kind of crack the code on generating a bunch of organic reviews. And then the third part of our platform is actually managing your online reputation. We call it real-time reviews. So now you're able, and a lot of our platform is AI enhanced. So we're able to, on the fly, generate responses to reviews, not only reviews, but feedbacks coming in, because people hate wordsmithing, is, from what I've seen. But yeah, to answer your question, that's kind of why I went after co-working, because, you talk to a property manager and they're like, I don't care about my reviews. This building still stands. There's still going to be people that are leasing.
I don't care if there's a crack in the wall. No. Yeah. Okay. Got it. It's more fun. There's a functional element there, but they don't care about the full suite. And so got it. That makes sense.
I mean, it's like the building could be anything. I mean, as long as a co-working place could, hunker down and lease out space out of that property, it doesn't matter what that property is, but it matters what that co-working space is. They want to be put on the map.
Okay, so here's the first real uncensored question.
Okay.
So if Adam, your father, your mentor, your business partner was sitting across from you, what are the 3 characteristics he would say that are going to make you successful in life and in the business community?
I would say discipline would be one of them. Yeah, definitely discipline. I mean, if you're gonna, it's doing something, it's showing up when no one wants to, and it's doing it not only for others, but for yourself. So the first one would be discipline. Second is, I don't know if this goes hand in hand, but responsibility. I mean, I see a lot of people my age that I'm like, how are you and I the same? And these are people that I went to high school with, mind you. And I'm like, how are you the way that you are, respectfully? A lot of people just don't have, that control or that sense of responsibility. Third would be, I guess, determination. I mean, if you really want something, it's people say, oh, it's really hard to do this, it's really hard to do that. It's not really that hard. It's you. I mean, if you really want something, you can do it. And I know it sounds really cliche to say, oh, put your mind to it, anything's possible. But in a reality, I mean, it has gravity to it. I mean, wake up in the morning if you have a sense of purpose, because that's what it is. People don't have a purpose. And I feel like, I whether it's real-time feedback or building something with my own hands, I would have a purpose at the end of the day that I work towards. So I think that'd be it.
Yeah, I love the quote basically that says the 2 most important days of our lives are the day we're born and the day we realize why we're born, right? So back to your purpose. But yeah, I mean, those all 3 of those go hand in hand, and Jamie knows those well as a CrossFit enthusiast, what it's like to not want to be able to go to the gym in the morning because you're sore or tired or anything else.
I had that talk with myself this morning. I was like, I am like worn out from, it was like, you just got to do the work. Just got to do the work. Discipline.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want to.
Especially when you don't.
Especially when you don't.
You've got to put the time in, right? Yep. I mean, that's the reality of it. All right. So back to regular programming. So you've obviously, I think, had some good conversations at GWA. You've made some, I guess, some victories, if you will, right? I think you've signed up a couple operators. You kind of want to talk about what that process was like, if they've had any feedback yet at this point. I mean, how far into integration are you, and kind of what your experience has been there?
Yeah, so our process really goes, I mean, it's depending if it's like a cold lead or someone that I've talked to at GWA. I guess the hardest thing would be, when you say the word real-time feedback, or the phrase real-time feedback, people automatically assume surveys. So that was always a tough one for me, because I'm like, no, we're not surveys at all. We're real-time communication. So once being at GWA, it was great because people were there at the booth looking at it like, oh, okay, I get it. That sounds great. When we're back, let's set up a demo and learn more about it. Let's go. So since I've been back, we actually are in the midst of launching a few Lucid private office locations. I'm really excited about. So I guess that process would be, hey, what do you want the language to say? And that's always a big one, but we can always do that, after we launch. But signage is something that we take into consideration. I mean, we have a whole marketing team that really levels in or dials in on that specific company that we're launching, make sure it matches all the brand guidelines, colors, et cetera. And once we have it, we just send it over for approval, send it to print, and we do all that in-house. So we can do the design, we can do the printing, or if they want to do it, they can send it over. If they, it's however they want to do it. After the signage is complete, if they're in, Dallas, I love to actually go there and launch them just because I like being hands-on. But obviously, most of our companies aren't. So we just, send it off their way. And while that's being shipped, we jump on a training call, show them everything, how to log in. I mean, it's a very simple system. People ask like, oh, how do I reply to feedback? I'm like, well, if you know how to send a text, you know how to send feedback. And actually it's easier because we use AI to just generate that response and send it out. So that's that's always easy. I would say there's like a whole like a process to launching, but it's pretty simple. I mean, it's not, there's not much to go over. I mean, we
So
could
kind of backtracking, and obviously Flip is a friend of the industry and been around for a long time. We won't talk much more good stuff. He doesn't listen to this anyways, but
He
his head
does.
is
He
big enough
doesn't
as it
listen.
is.
No.
But either way, so obviously Flip is not who is down at the ground level having these conversations. So who are you dealing with? Is it John? Is it someone on their marketing team? Who's the right contact for your conversation?
It would definitely be John Egan. I've spoken a lot with him. John Egan, Anthony Gerhart, and of course Luke Wills. Luke Wills was one of the best contacts I actually met at GWA. He was just a great person to know all around, and he really pushed for feedback being introduced to Lucid. So I'm grateful for him as well. But yeah, those are the three people that I've been in communication with.
So when you onboard, is that usually with the owner or the community manager or ops manager? Like who's sort of doing that? Yeah, onboarding.
Yeah. So when I first, obviously I have to talk to the operator, like, hey, this is what we do. This is what we're, this is who
They're
we
paying
are.
the bills.
To launch. Yeah. We're ready to launch. Okay. So then I sit down with them, or, you can do it over email. And they're really, it's whatever channel of communication that they prefer. Just all I ask is, hey, who works in your space and who do you want to receive feedback? Like, who do you want? Just your two community managers? Do you have any in-house people or third-party people that come in and do any, janitorial services, whatever? Because we set up departments. So we have it to where feedback is sent from the restrooms. We can make it to where we have a department set out to where only certain people get feedbacks from the restroom, whereas certain people get feedbacks from the offices or conference rooms or, the kitchen area. So I just need that list of contacts, plug them into the system. They get a little welcome text and a welcome email. They can download our app or just go on our platform. The app is really if you're on the go. But it's just that it's that simple. You log on and you're ready to go. We do have an integration base. Within the first few weeks of launching or getting into co-working, we got with Deskworks to build out an integration where if somebody walks into a, say Venture X, we know within the first, like their system communicates with ours. And so we say, okay, well, the work day is going to be, 8 hours. So after 8 hours, send them a text saying, hey, Jamie, thank you so much for being a valued member. How was your experience? Would you rate us on a quick scale of 1 to 5? And then we send them that link. We call it a 1 through 5 text. So this is where the magic kind of happens. If they click on that link and they hit 5 stars, they automatically get sent to any review site of that company's choice, whether it be Google, Facebook, Yelp, Coworker. You could put 20 in there if you wanted to, but it cycles out every time. So we build 5 stars across every single review site. And anything below 5 stars, management sees in real time, like, oh, hey, this member just hit 4, 3, 2, 1 stars, and then can leave a feedback. So one of our biggest slogans that we like to say is let us help before they yelp. So that really gets it across.
I saw that on your website and I was like, that is great messaging, because that's the worst nightmare for a business owner, right? If somebody has a bad experience and they immediately go write a review before you have a chance to do anything to make it right, to hear them. And then you can't get rid of that review. It's pretty painful. Yeah.
Going back, it takes 4 5-star reviews to basically get rid of the damage done from one negative star, one star review. Yeah. And that's insane. So people really need to understand, reviews do make that much of a difference. It's crazy. Some of the people that I talk with, not just in the co-working vertical, but others are like, oh, we don't really care about reviews. Like, you should. You definitely should. Because some people will say,
co-working does, it matters so much. And I preach that a lot, because it's for customer acquisition. Your Google review management matters, unless you're Regis and you're getting all your leads through some other sales channel, because they don't manage their Google reviews. It's a really strange thing to me, but it matters a lot. And I run a program for community managers. It's a training and development platform. So we talk about this all the time, and I'm working with them all the time to help them focus on getting reviews and how do you automate it, because they're so busy that working that in, but it's really critical because you need to get them every single month for the algorithm and also just to be consistent, right? So at the end of the year, your technology makes it really automated and really relevant. Like, you're asking them in really timely Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we have systems built out to where if somebody gets that link and they click on it but don't do any, there's no action tied with it, we'll send them another text saying,
another
hey,
one, yeah,
on it. We want to make sure that we get the most out of it.
Yeah.
But going back to your point, a lot of people think that half the battle is, just getting, or they think the battle is just getting the reviews. That's only like half the battle. The rest is you need to reply to them.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad, if they're good, you need to reply to them, because that's where the SEO really kicks in. I mean, you could have 500 5-star reviews. You may look really good in the public standing, but if you're not replying to any of them, it shows that you don't care about the positive feedback that you're receiving. So that's been a huge thing for me.
So it's that time, Jamie. What is the magical question that you end with?
Okay, ready? Yeah, I know it is time. I was all caught up in how in the story. Okay, Aiden, you're at the GWA conference and there's karaoke. What's your song?
Oh, wow. I like the Beatles, but I also like, I don't know. Maybe the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin? I don't know. That's pretty hardcore. Maybe like wow, they're really putting me on the spot here. There's never been like a singular song that I would choose from. You know what? I take it back. I would do No Sleep Till Brooklyn by Beastie Boys, maybe.
Ooh,
good one.
Favorite.
That's out of your generation range for sure.
Love
you and I are like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so a twist to that one, and we've never asked this one. So if you had a walkout song, what would it be?
A walkout song. Wow.
Yeah.
Probably maybe something by, maybe Back in Black. Because that's more of a walking in song.
Yeah.
But
is this
well, that's what it is. It's a walkout song from the dugout in a baseball game or something. Yeah. So that's what you walk into. Yeah.
Or the basketball court or yeah. Okay.
Jamie, what would yours be?
Back in Black. One of my get geared up. I don't even know who sings it. It's much more recent than Back in Black. For if I'm competing, CrossFit competition is My House.
Oh.
Yeah. Who sings it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is it My House or Our House?
Flow Rida, My House.
Oh, it's
Flow Rida. She even gets Flow Rida.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow, Jamie.
That was the first thing that came to mind. I'm sure I could do better, but I was going with first thing off the top of the head.
Yeah.
So Kurt picked Inner Sandman for me because Mariano Rivera with the New York Yankees used to come into that. So I was like, nice. I've got enough love for Kurt that I'll let him have that. And it's actually a great one too.
It's really a great one. Yeah.
What would go ahead.
What's yours, Gio? Yours
Inner Sandman.
Oh, would be Inner Sandman. Okay, I thought that's someone recommended. Okay.
And you're cool. It's a great one. I mean, I'd love the start of that. Just even the beginning intro to it is amazing. So
I like it.
But really appreciate you joining us. It was great to hear more of your story. I didn't know it, and certainly look forward to watching you continue to make tidal waves, and not just small waves, make tidal waves in the industry. Wow. I mean, 24 and passionate and disciplined and determined and all that fun stuff. So it'll be fun to continue seeing you at these events, and certainly I know that Jamie, myself, and other people in the industry are committed to help continue to grow. So reach out to us and let us know how we can help.
And thank you, Gio, and thank you again, Jamie, for having me on. This was
totally. We're glad to do it. We look forward to keeping in touch.